What are the most beautiful cars in history? Here you'll find the 12 most beautiful cars in the history of automobiles. When they pass by you, you cannot stop looking at them, and no matter how much time passes, they will always be the object of desire. Some are simply beautiful due to their shape and proportions, and others are also attractive and have charisma like people. So we advise you to watch the video to the end to see the detailed list of our crush with 4 wheels. But before we start, please like and subscribe to this channel, and then sit back and relax. 1. Cadillac Eldorado. Although it is difficult to see one in some countries today, surely we have all heard of this Cadillac, of which there have been 11 generations, and which we have seen so much on the big screen. Celebrities of all kinds have had one. From Marilyn Monroe, who received one of hers as a gift from her first husband, the baseball player Joe DiMaggio, to Elvis Presley himself, who seems to have personalized it to the extreme. Its name, Eldorado, is due to the name of a club, Eldorado Country Club of California, where it seems that the great bosses of General Motors entertained in the 50s. 2. Mercedes 300 SL. Also known as Gullwings, a regular at beauty pageants in the world of cars, classic elegance contests such as the one held every year in Pebble Beach, California, and is also one of the most desired in auction houses. This car was born to compete in events of the time, such as the 24 Hours of Le Mans, but a commercial version was immediately made at the request of Max Hoffman, the Daimler importer in New York. So it is estimated that there are some 1,400 units in circulation. There was also a roadster version, of which another 1,800 were manufactured. Its great aesthetic assets are its pronounced snout and the gills on its side, which give it an elegant and fierce appearance. In addition, of course, to its innovative door opening system, which earned it the nickname Gullwings. A car of these cost about $7,000 at the time, but now at auction, they can easily exceed 1 million euros. 3. Citroën DS19. The Citroën DS19 was born with the mission of replacing the Citroën Attraction Avant, and a large number of advances made all the competing models out of date at one point. It was designed by the brilliant Flaminio Bertoni, who knew how to take advantage of the interior space as never before, refining its silhouette with aerodynamics in mind. It was also the first to incorporate high-drop pneumatic suspension as standard, another great advance that improved incredibly driving comfort in a world where the roads were not exactly what we have now. Under its hood, a 4-cylinder engine, which in the 1965 version already delivered 83 horsepower and a state-of-the-art transmission, with a 4-speed manual gearbox and reverse gear. 4. Ford Mustang. This American classic has managed to preserve its beauty, from the first models of the 60s, in all its bodies, to the electric Mach-E of today. In the image, it's the coolest version, the convertible, in 3 generations. The red is the one from its beginnings in 1964, the blue is the one from 1994, and the champagne color, in the foreground, is the one from 1999. Originally, this car was the result of a commission to Jean Bordenat, the star designer of the time, to create a sports car that would combat the rise of European cars. The first concept was a 2-seater convertible, with too futuristic an appearance, so a new prototype was commissioned from Joe Orosz. It finally went on sale in 1964 in 2 hardtop and convertible body styles, but it wasn't until 1966 that its sales skyrocketed. 5. Aston Martin DB5. One of Aston Martin's most iconic cars, the DB5 was born as an evolution of the DB4, whose appearance was responsible for one of the most famous Italian car design houses of the time, Superleggera, which used a magnesium alloy patented by them to give more resistance and lightness to such beautiful bodywork. In addition, Aston Martin endowed it with great technical improvements, such as the incorporation of a 4-liter engine with 6 cylinders in line that delivered 282 CV of power and reached 240 kmph. In addition, it became one of the most famous sports cars in the world when it was selected as the car of James Bond, Sean Connery, in Goldfinger. Later, it appeared in other installments of the 007 sagas, such as Tomorrow Never Dies or Casino Royale. 6. Lamborghini Miura. Very few cars have brought about as big a change in the automotive world as the Miura. Its central engine, a 4-cylinder V12 with 385 horsepower and capable of reaching 300 kilometers per hour, made history by changing the concept that was held until then of what a supercar was. And on top of that, it was wrapped in beautiful bodywork designed by Marcello Gandini for Bertone. Such was the giant step that Ferruccio Lamborghini thought of producing on a small scale. In fact, between 1966 and 1969, only 275 models of this Miura were made, which is now one of the most sought-after collector's items. But such was its success that its evolution was launched in 1969. The Miura S, with 370 CV, of which more units were made. 7. Volkswagen Golf GTI. We are, without a doubt, before one of the milestones in the history of the automobile. This is the pioneer of a saga, which has millions of followers around the world, where almost 40 million units sold worldwide in its 8 generations. So what better guarantee to include it in this list? Not in vain, the first Golf in history, the one known as MK1, was designed by one of the geniuses of this industry, the Italian Giorgetto Giugiaro, in 1974. And its shapes have since been replicated by cars of all kinds. Its GTI version, the sportiest, was born 2 years later as proof of its consolidation in the market. The first GTI, Gran Turismo injection, weighed only 810 kilograms and had a power of 110 CV, which allowed it to accelerate from 0 to 100 km/h in 9.2 seconds. And we are talking about 45 years ago, neither more nor less. 8. Mazda MX-5. The one popularly known as Miata is also an icon, both for the Japanese brand and car lovers. Because whoever doesn't fall in love with him at first sight, strange, because his line has always been a success, does so as soon as they're lucky enough to take control of him. Not for nothing, he has long held the Roadster title bestseller in the world. Its first version appeared in 1989 after 7 years of hard development work. A team in the US and another in Japan worked in parallel to develop it. After so much work, when it was launched, what fascinated everyone who was able to try it was its ease of handling and its dynamic features. 2 things together with his line are undoubtedly the secret of his success, and that he continues to fall in love with more generations 30 years later. 9. Peugeot 406 Pininfarina. The secret of this beautiful car, which Peugeot marketed in the 90s, is that it was designed by Pininfarina while also creating the most impressive Ferraris in its history, which has a certain resemblance to the Ferrari 550 Maranello. So, whoever did not have the money to get a prancing horse, for much less money, could do it with a lion of similar beauty. The Italian genius had already collaborated with the brand in the creation of the Peugeot 504 Coupe, which has inspired the spectacular E-Legend prototype that has caused so much talk, but that had been in 1985. The 406 Coupe was presented at the 1996 Paris Salon, and its success was resounding. Still, today, it is a highly valued car in the second-hand market. 10. Honda S2000. This sports car, which is among the favorites of many fans of the motor world, was manufactured by Honda to commemorate the company's 50th anniversary. It was developed by order and supervision of Soichiro Honda, the Japanese Enzo Ferrari, to make his client's dream and pour into it all the passion that Soichiro felt for the automotive world. And boy, did he get it! The result is this marvelous 2-seater, with a simple design and the right luxuries, but so much fun to drive that whoever got behind the wheel couldn't forget it. His secret was a new engine, the 2-liter 4-cylinder Socht VTEC, which developed 240 horsepower and has always figured in the rankings of the best engines in history. Its last version was produced in 2009, a special Ultimate Edition. 11. Fiat 500. Well, the original Fiat 500 was presented on July 4, 1957, under the heading of the Great Little Car. It was the time in which all the European countries competed to see who would bring out the utility that managed to turn the lives of their citizens around, modernize them, and above all, mobilize them. It was the time of the Beetle in Germany or the Seat 600 in Spain. However, the modernized version that the Fiat Group released in 2007 is the most aesthetically beautiful, which has undoubtedly made it one of the greatest successes in the most recent history of the automotive world, which has also resulted in record sales. Already in 2019, it exceeded the barrier of 3 million units sold. 12. Porsche 911 Targa. It is very difficult to choose a Porsche to represent the brand in this ranking. Almost any car of the brand, in its more than 100 years of history, could occupy a position on this list. In the end, we decided on the 911, without a doubt the most iconic model of the brand from its appearance in 1963 to the present, and more specifically for its more Porsche bodywork, the so-called Targa. A Targa is not a coupe, a convertible, a hardtop convertible, or a saloon, since they are not all of those things. It is essentially a hybrid of all three, a convertible with a portion of the glass roof and an anti-roll bar that was created from the start, the 1965 model year, to enhance driver safety. Because of that, and the fact that it has maintained its aesthetic appeal throughout time, it is a unique car. Not a single iota of beauty has been lost between that Targa Florio, which was unveiled in Italy at the tail end of the 1960s, and the most recent Targa, unveiled in May 2020. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit like, the subscription button, and the notification bell to get notified when new videos are uploaded from this channel. Please share your thoughts about the beauty of cars. 12 most beautiful cars in the history of automobiles in the comment section below. Thank you.